Right. Let's get into it. So today I want to talk about ugliness. This is going to be a quick video because I just want to have a little chat before I leave the house. I feel like the only time I ever film videos is when I have like an extra 10 minutes to spare before I leave the house. But basically I want to talk about ugliness because if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I ask a lot of questions about love, life, sex, death, the apocalypse, everything. People answer anonymously and then I broadcast everyone's answers and we just have conversations. It's fun, it's a good time. Follow me if you'd like to get in on the conversations. So basically, the conversation we were having the other day is about being the ugly friend. And I posed the question, how does your appearance affect your friendships? I feel like a lot of us talk about our appearance and beauty in relation to romance, but not so much in relation to how we pick friends, to how we are friends and how we're treated by our friends and how easy or how hard it is for us to make friends. One thing that I found really interesting is that most people identified as being the ugly friend in their friend group, so that's interesting. A select few people identified as being the attractive friend in their friend group. No one identified as just being medium or just being not affected by the issue at all. That was also really interesting. And what I also found interesting was that the people who perceive themselves as ugly were complaining that being ugly is trash because it's hard to make friends, it's hard to find love, you get made fun of, your family's always roasting you, this and this and that, while the people who perceive themselves as attractive were saying that being attractive is trash because people don't take you seriously, everyone's trying to fuck, you're wary of people's intentions, this and this and that. Which leaves me to the question of, if being ugly is trash and being attractive is trash, what is the goal here? Like, what is the role of beauty in our lives and in our relationships? And what are we all aiming for? Like, what is it that we're all trying to do if it's all apparently trash? I grew up in very white spaces. I went to high school in Europe. I went to elementary school in Europe. I went to middle school in South Africa. But my entire life experience has just been very Caucasian. I've just hopped out the womb into the Caucasus Mountains and that's just been my life. So obviously being the black bitch amongst white people, you are immediately the ugly duckling. So I was obviously a dark-skinned girl, 4C hair. I also had severe acne when I was a teenager. I used to sweat a lot as well. My eyebrows were not symmetrical. Big ass round cheeks, like chubby cheeks, big ass forehead, African features in a sea of Eurocentric people. I feel like a lot of us would suffer less if we realize that beauty is a performance, not a state of being. Because when you realize that beauty is a performance, it's not necessarily something that you're just born into and it is just a fact. It's really more to do with how you perceive yourself, which intersects with how you self-narrate yourself, which then intersects with how you move through the world, and then that affects how people perceive you. All of those three factors, the way you perceive yourself, the way you self-narrate yourself, the way you dress, the way you talk, the way you move through the world, that has a lot more to do with whether or not people perceive you as ugly or not. Honestly, the only difference between me now and me 15 years ago is that I give less fucks about anyone's appearance. So I walk the way I want to, I talk the way I want to, and I know how to switch it on and off. Like, I know when I need to be charismatic and when I don't need to be charismatic. And I know that influences people's perception of whether I'm attractive or not. So I feel all that to say is that a lot of us would really be suffering less if we just understood that none of this shit is real. I feel like every single one of my videos, I'm like, everything's an illusion, we're all in a simulation and we're all gonna die. Which is true, like we're actually all gonna die and none of this is real and we all are in a simulation, but so is beauty. Like even the way people perceive your skin suit is not real, it's not factual. It is all performative, it is all simulated. I have a theory that as women, we could have actually ended the patriarchy. We could have thrown all the men into the ocean. We could have dismantled capitalism. We could have ended racism. We could be in our own utopia. But instead, we're out here frolicking about being pressed about the gap between our thighs. We spend so much time and energy. I just did a poll. If you don't listen to my podcast, it's called the Bobo and Flex podcast. I'll link it in the group below. I just asked, we have a Facebook group basically where all of the listeners, we just like talk and interact, and it's amazing. So in the group, I just asked everyone, how much time do you spend in the morning on your appearance? And it's really interesting to see how women really spend more than 30 minutes to more than an hour on just their appearance, whereas men literally will wear the same boxes, and I'm not saying this is what we need to do. Men will literally wear the same boxes every day, hop out of bed, not even comb their hair, and go outside and flourish. And I do think that like our lives could be so much more fulfilling and productive if we didn't spend 80% of them worrying, stressing, and engaging with whether or not we're beautiful, whether or not we live up to what men have decided is sexy for them. I feel like a lot of us have deluded ourselves into thinking we're sexually liberated, and I don't believe in sexual liberation. I think it's all a scam. None of us are really sexually liberated, because even the way we self-narrate, the way we dress, the way we post pictures on Instagram is so influenced and determined by what turns men on. A lot of us are like, I'm reclaiming my sexuality, my titties, and I'm the same. Like, this is me as well. I'm not excluding myself from this narrative. A lot of us are out here deluding ourselves into thinking we're sexually liberated, but in reality, we're just like puppets on the strings of white capitalist patriarchal systems. So I'm not saying that we should all cover up and be more modest and this and this and that. Like, that's not the answer at all. We should continue to be naked. Like, let's all be naked. But just understand that our obsession with women being naked is part of our enslavement and not our liberation. I think the body positivity movement is part of the reason why we feel that we are sexually liberated. And I'm just not a fan of the body positive movement. Just this idea that everyone should have a positive body image. There's still like so much of an overemphasis on the relationship that you have with your appearance. I think we should all have a positive relationship with our bodies and a neutral relationship with our body image. Ultimately, like, this is just a skin suit. Like, this is not, you know what I mean? Like, your body's value should be based on its function, not whether or not it can make some guy's dick hard. Like, that has nothing to do with your value. And I feel like the body positive movement is just, it's not really solving the issue, because why do we still have this obsession with body image? Like, ultimately, we're all just vessels that is stuck inside a skin suit, inside a flesh prison, and that's that. Your skin suit doesn't need to look like Kim Kardashian, doesn't need to look like Kylie Jenner, and it's no more or less valuable depending on its ability to make a dick hard. That's that on that. If I could go back in time and talk to my 12-year-old self, I would literally just tell her that being ugly is not the end of the world. Because it's really not. I think a lot of us feel... I think I literally wasted the first 2 decades of my life being preoccupied with beauty and thinking that beauty will save me, will end all my problems, like, will solve everything, cure everything. But really it's not, because it's not even the fact that we think we even perceive ourselves as ugly that's absurd. Well, that is absurd, but outside of that, it's the fact that we prioritize being pretty over what we actually do. And at the end of the day, like when you die and you go over to heaven, there's gonna be no one waiting for you with a clipboard like, oh bitch, you can't come in because you were ugly, gotta go to hell. Like, it doesn't, you know what I mean? It's absolutely inconsequential. Focus on what you're doing in the world and less on how your frivolous skin suit looks, because your skin suit depreciates with every day. It's just not worth your time. It's not worth the investment to spend all your time investing in it. And I feel like society has hoodwinked us, bamboozled us into thinking that beauty is a good investment, like you'll get a good return on that investment. You won't. At most, you'll just get more male attention. And what have men ever added to the world that you would be doing so much for their attention? Why do we do so much for male validation and male attention when all they do is enslave, start wars, and colonize? What else? You know what I mean? Beauty is just not worth your investment. There's no return on that investment. Being ugly is not the end of the world. It really doesn't ultimately matter what your skin suit looks like, because at the end of the day, we are all deteriorating. We are all in a constant process of decay. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and we all have our ugly days. You know those days when you just wake up and you feel like a gremlin? Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I look in the mirror and I'm like, fuck, could I get just a little bit of facial definition? You know what I mean? But then the more you look at yourself, you're like, wow, human beings are actually really weird. We're just really weird looking things that are just floating around the stratosphere. We just have hair randomly all over our bodies, like these random arms just swinging from the sides of our bodies. We just look very strange. All of us look very strange. When the aliens get here, they're going to be like, you guys are all ugly. And it's important to realize that everyone is ugly to someone. And because we're all ugly to someone, we're all beautiful. And we're so fragile. If a tree fell on me, that's the end of my life. I'm one tree away from death at any moment. You know what I mean? We're so fragile and so lanky and so weird. Who is Bella Hadid to tell you that she looks better than you? We're all little aliens just floating around the stratosphere, just looking weird as fuck. And that's really beautiful. There was no purpose to this, honestly. I just find it incredibly fascinating. Just women's preoccupation with beauty and ugliness, and the way that we all think we're ugly, or at least according to my statistics, according to my Instagram story, a good 90% of us believe that we're ugly. I think that's that on that. So right after watching this video, go ahead and do something productive with your time that has nothing to do with your appearance. Go do that. And then go and join in on the conversations on my Instagram story. Today we're talking about in what ways are we trash in our relationships. And by the way, I'm not saying that I'm above any of this. I am just as much a clown as you, because I'm out here. How much time did I spend this morning getting ready? 35 minutes of my time. Putting on this BB cream. What else did I do this morning? I don't even remember, because my mind is deteriorating because we're all about to die. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Please make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. Let me know in the comment section below, what's your relationship with your skin suit? I specifically say your skin suit, not your body image, because we're not interested in that. No, actually we are. What is your relationship with your skin suit, and what is your relationship with your body image? And I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Also, let me know what else you'd like me to talk about. I think the sun is coming out because I'm starting to look light-skinned, which is my cue to go. I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Mwah.